Hello ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with yet again another interview, and this time for a Vice President of Society and Citizenship candidate, Abdi. How are you, Abdi?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you very much for asking. So this is how the questions are going to go down. Okay, so there's two questions that I'm going to ask to you and the other candidate that are the same, and then one unique question tailored to yourself, okay?
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. So the first question is, right, quite a long one. Do you have a plan to tackle the precarious work so many students take up and rely on? And if so, what are your actions to deal with this?
Well, actually, yes. So I'm a last year university student, and when I was applying to my last year, there were no maintenance grants anymore. And what I had to do, I had to choose between studying and working, but I chose to study and work, which meant actually I was in a position where I had to work a lot of hours, but also study as well. But I know a lot of students are unfortunate enough to work in the good environment that I do. A lot of them are being exploited and are working in the gig economy, which is exploiting them. So I want to introduce this free trade union membership for all student workers. So any student worker who works will be able to get a free trade union membership. It's a program that I want to roll out with working with trade unions. I've worked with the GMB at UEA to actually deliver this, so I've got experience and a record on delivering it before, and it's worked like a treat. Students at UEA now have access to this, which means actually those students aren't going to be undercut or exploited. So I think it's a great policy. Of course, I'd say that, but I think it would also go to the heart of the problem with the gig economy, and it would actually protect those students whilst they're working.
Fantastic. Second question. As we know, hate crime has risen since the Brexit vote. Is this a priority for you to tackle? And if so, what ways are you going to do it?
I mean, yes, completely it is. I mean, I remember walking down, I've got this memory in my head when I was 6 years old, my mum walking down the street, and I was with her, and she wears a hijab. She's a very visible Muslim, and I was 6 years old, and someone came up to her, spat in her face and ripped her hijab off. It was straight after the 9/11 incident in New York. And for me, that's always been in the back of my head. But we saw straight after the referendum, those kind of things come back. You know, the referendum vote opened a can of worms. It gave people some sort of authority to say whatever they want. So absolutely, I think, obviously, now SUs are all hate crime reporting centres, but we need to do, a lot of students don't know this. I think we need to make sure that information's better and that we're telling students that these facilities are there for them so that we can actually tackle these problems. From Exeter to Nottingham, we've seen the rise in racism, not just in society but also on campuses. We had the incident obviously in Nottingham where, you know, a young black woman had to close her room because racists on her corridor were chanting "We hate the blacks," and we saw in Exeter people joking about bombing mosques and all sorts of vile stuff. So we do have to tackle it, because it's not just in society, but it's coming onto our campuses. And if we don't tackle it, we're going to be in a really, really bad position going on. So I think we need to tackle it. It has to be a priority, not just for me or NUS, but also for wider society and the government.
Okay, and the final question that's tailored more to you. I've seen a lot of points regarding environmental work in your manifesto. How can you ensure that FE can still find themselves to be included within those campaigns, and actually can they make more than just the little changes and actually really get stuck in with those? So what's your plan to make sure that FE can still be included in your environment campaigns?
Well, I completely agree with you. I mean, FE hasn't been included in our in our green campaigns for too long. I sit on the NUS Sustainability Board. I've sat on it for 6 months, but I also sit on the Society and Citizenship Zone. And what I see time and time again is actually sustainability for FE isn't talked about at all. So actually, one of my plans is actually to create to make Go Green Week a national priority again, but actually make FE specific resources. So actually, we're helping FE tackle the problems that they have on their campuses. Obviously, we've been focused on the Last Straw campaign, which is all fine, but actually the vast majority of FEs won't have a bar, which means they won't be able to actually get onto this use those campaigns or actually get involved in those campaigns. And there's a completely false narrative that somehow FE students don't care about the environment, but somehow university students do. I disagree with that. I think all students do, and we need to make sure that every student on every campus is able to engage with our environmental campaigns, whether they're small, big, whether they have sabbatical officers or not, and that we are giving them the resources that they need and the help that they need so we can actually save the planet from oblivion.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Brilliant, guys, and that is yet again another interview done and dusted. Be sure, as always, to look out for the next one.